Hello everyone and welcome back to Netmaster Zone channel and to another video from FortiGate series. In the previous video we configured our Remote Access VPN using IKEv version 1 and LDAP server, and we successfully connected to our corporate network. Here in this video I'm going to configure IKEv version 2, and as I said in the previous video, we are not allowed to use the IKEv version 2 and LDAP server in the FortiGate. By design, actually it's not working. Okay, let's go to our configuration, start our configuration, and then during this configuration we speak about this problem more. Okay, first of all, let's access our FortiGate interface, and like before, let's go to our VPN configuration here. In the IPsec tunnel, we have a Remote Access VPN using LDAP that we created. It's from previous video, and now let's use this IPsec wizard to create another one. Let's name that Remote Access VPN and IKEv version 2. I just want to make sure that I'm typing everything clear to identify that because we may have many different tunnels. And now I'm going to use the remote access. Type of the VPN is the Remote Access VPN, client-based and FortiGate. We speak about this in the previous video. Let's click on next. Here the incoming interface, let's use this ISP2. Let me show you in the topology. Here you can see our previous tunnel that created on port 1, and here in this video I'm going to create a video on port 2, and that is connected to ISP2. Okay, and pre-shared key, let's select the pre-shared key here, and the user group, which user group we are going to use for this. As you know, and as I said before, we are not allowed to use this LDAP. Then let's actually create another group in the radius, and we can point it to that group. Let's name that Remote Access, and that is type of radius server, and type firewall, and let's select the remote group here, and that is the radius server that we created before. Let's save this. Okay, and now we have another group here, and this is for remote access using the radius server. And let's click next. In the next interface we have to say what is the local interface. The local interface, it's the interface that is connected to the internet, and this remote devices wants to access that. And here I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, start. Okay, next we have to select the local interface. The local interface is the interface that is connected to our inside network. Let's select that interface, and also the local IP address, what IP address we are going to allow in this VPN tunnel, and that is 10.10.00/16, the all IP address actually inside the corporate network. And the client range IP address, according our topology, it should be 10.10.100/0/24 in this range. 10.10.100.1 to 10.10.100. For example, 100 IP address that we have here. Okay, 10. This is the we should write that in the range format from 10.10.101 to 10.10.100.100, and the subnet mask is /32, and the DNS server that we are going to use the same DNS server that is configured in the system, and also we are going to enable the IPv4 split tunnel. Let's click next. These options, it's client options, and they need a license for to enabling this in the client side, but here we are using the free version, then this option may not work. Let's click next. And here we have a very brief information about that. The only thing that we have here is the name of the tunnel, and also the phase 1 and phase 2 and so on. Let's create this. Okay, our tunnel is created, and now all of them is green, and this one is down because nothing actually is connected to this. Let's go to our IPsec tunnel, and here we need to change some configuration because we are going to enable the IKE version 2, and in the wizard we didn't have any option to change this between IKE version 1 and IKE version 2. Then we have to go to our VPN and VPN tunnel, and here we have to convert that to the custom tunnel to be able to change this configuration. Okay, here in the first you can see that the IP address range and the interface that we are going to connect to, it's okay, we don't need to change this first part. But in the next portion, that is the authentication, we have to change this IKE version 1 to IKE version 2. And one thing that I have to tell you, that the IKE version 1 using the X authentication to authenticate between the client and the server. And here if I change that to the IKE version 2, the IKE version 2 using IP for the authentication. The difference between IP and X authentication, I can say the IP is more advanced, and it's using the different type of the authentication, like a smart card, like token, and one-time password, and so on. But the X authentication just using the username and password, and I can say this is the two-factor authentication also, and this X authentication support that too. And here if I change this IKE version 1, then this X authentication will not be available anymore because it's not in use with the IKE version 2. Okay, let's do that. Let's click on edit, and let's change that to IKE version 2. After converting this to IKE version 2, you can see that the X authentication is disappeared from here, and phase 1 and phase 2 is already available. And of course just selecting every different AS and all of this authentication. Let's change this, and I'm going to use just this MD5 and this SHA-1. This is evaluation license, and we are not allowed to use any other authentication. And the development group 14. And let's go to our phase 2. And here in the phase 2, let's go to the advanced and use the same configuration here, this MD5 and this SHA-1. And also I'm going to use this PFS development group to 14. Okay, now let's save this. Okay, after saving, you see that we don't have any option here to actually assign our group, user group, to be able to access this remote access VPN, because actually there is no option here in the graphical mode to assign a group for IP. Because of that, we of course we need to go to our CLI mode, and in the CLI we should edit this tunnel, and we should enable the IP, and also we should assign a group that we are going to use for connecting to this remote access VPN. Okay, let's go to the command line, and in the command line let's access this tunnel group that we are created, this VPN tunnel. For that, let's go to configure VPN, and it's IPsec. And here we have to select that in which phase of this IPsec tunnel that we are going to change. Of course, this authentication is in the phase 1 interface. And here let's edit our tunnel that we are created. Our tunnel here is Remote Access VPN IKEv version 2, and here let's set IP. We have to enable the IP here. Enable. Okay, after enabling the IP, let me tell you something, that we change this tunnel to IKEv version 2 first. For example, here if I try to enable IP here in the remote access using LDP that we are created before, this is configured to use IKEv version 1, and this option will not be available in that. First we need to change that to the IKEv version 2 in the graphical mode. Then in the CLI mode we have to configure this IP, and then let me enable the IP set IP identity to send request, because we are going to send our request to the remote site, actually to the client. And after that we need to set our group that we are going to use for this tunnel, the group that are allowed to access this VPN tunnel. And here the command is authentication, not method, the authentication group, authentication user group. The method, of course, it was for changing the pre-shared key or to certificate mode. But here in the authentication group, let's select this group that we are created, and that is remote access using the radius. Remote access radius. This is the group that we are going to use. Okay, let's enter this and let's save our configuration by typing end command. Okay, now our tunnel is configured, and to check that, of course, we can again go to the configure VPN, IPsec, and phase 1 interface, and let me enter the show command here. And here you can see that we have two groups, the remote access LDAP. As you see here, the authentication method is, it should be X authentication. You can see here that the X authentication type equal to auto, and that is the IKEv version 2. But here if we come to our tunnel that we configured for IKEv version 2, here you can see that we enable the IP and then set IP identity to send request, and then send the authentication user group to this user group that we created before. This three command is very necessary to change our tunnel from IKEv version 1 to IKEv version 2, and it's not available in the graphical mode. Then we have to configure that in the CLI mode. First of all, we need to enable this IP, then we will have this different these two other options to change. Okay, let's end this, and now our tunnel is configured. Let's close this, and let me and close this page also, and let's go to our client and try to connect our VPN to this okay, it's just get update, it's not time for update. Okay, let's now go to our client, and we have to create the tunnel here in the user site. Okay, here we have one tunnel that is remote access using LDAP, and we need to create a new one. Let's add a new connection. This is the IPsec VPN. Let's give a name, Remote Access VPN, and that is IKEv version 2. The name is completely optional, but I'm just giving here to make sure that I don't misuse these two tunnels. And here let's type the IP address 172.16.20.2, and this is the IP address of the ISP2, that the interface that is connected to ISP2. And let's use the pre-shared key that we configured in the FortiGate. And then let's save this login also. Okay, the username Bob. Here in the advanced setting, of course, we have to go to the VPN setting and change the IKEv version to version 2. The rest of the configuration, let it be by default, because by default when we change the IP, it's using the IKEv2 port 500. And of course we can change that to O2 to UDP, and also the fallback to the TCP, or we can convert that to the use this to IPsec over TCP. Let's go to phase 1, and here this and MD5, and this MD5, and this SHA-1. And here we have to we configure this group 14 in the server side, and in the phase 2 the same configuration, this MD5 and this SHA-1. And also the PFS group, let's use that group 14 and save this configuration. Okay, now our connection is ready, and we should be able to connect to the VPN. Before connecting that, let's go to our server, and here let me check that if this user actually is in the correct group of Active Directory or not. In Active Directory, use lab and groups. We have a remote access group, and Bob and Sarah, both of them are a member of this. Let me remove this Sarah from this group here for testing, and also let's go to the admin group, and here only Sarah is a member of this. Okay, and also if we go to our radius policy here in the network policy server, we actually did this configuration before in the previous videos. Here we have this radius server, and let me see here what else we have. This is the radius client that we created before, and also we have some policies here. Network policy, we have one policy that is the admin access. Okay, and this admin access, let's see that the condition of this, if the user is a member of the admin group, then it is allowed to connect. Okay, let's we need to create another one, because we are going to let Bob to access this remote access VPN. Then let's create a new one. Let's name that remote access. The type of this is unspecified. Next, and here let's add a condition when the user group is equal to the remote access. This is a condition that when a user is in the member of the remote access, it should be able to access this. It should be able to connect to the remote access VPN, and access granted. Next, here in the IP type, of course, we need to do some configuration, as I said before, because we are going to use IP. Then let's add this IP PIP and also IP MSCHAP version 2, both of them in this IP type. Okay, both of them is added here. Of course we can move up and down, but PEEP first and then EEP MSCHAB second. Next, the rest is okay, and let's finish this. Okay, now we have two different policy here, and according to this policy I should be able to access this Remote Access VPN. Okay, let's go and try to connect our VPN, but before that let me do the same configuration here. In the EEP I'm going to show you something. Let me add this one and also this one. Now let's go to our user and try to connect it. The password for Bob and connect. And after that you see that our VPN now is connected, and let's bring this agent to see the connection, and also let me try to ping. It takes forever. Here you see that our connection is established, and now it's sending and receiving data, and I should be able to ping to one of the server in the corporate network. For example, let's ping 10.10.1.21. This is the radius server that I can ping it here. Okay, now I connected with the user Bob, and user Bob was of a part of the remote access member, and we just give a condition to this to be able to connect to the remote access VPN. Let's disconnect this Bob and let's try to connect with the username Sarah. I want to show you something here. Sarah is not a member of the remote access VPN. She is a IT admin. Sarah, and the password. Connect. Let's see if we are able to connect this Sarah also. You can see that the Sarah is also connected, but she was not a member of the remote access VPN. Let's go and check. Here in the Active Directory admin group and members, Sarah is a member of this admin group. And if I go to the remote access VPN, you can see that Bob is a member of this remote access group, and Sarah is not a member of this group. Then why she can connect to the remote access VPN? And also, if I go in the FortiGate, let's go to our FortiGate interface. Okay, that one is also down. Let me bring that. Okay, in the FortiGate, if I try to log in with username Bob and password of the Bob, login, you see that I'm able to access the even FortiGate interface, and it's a very big problem because Bob is not actually part of this admin group. And you can see here the admin group only have one member, and that is Sarah. Then how I can use this authentication to access this FortiGate? The answer is here. Let's go to our network policy server. You can see we just create these two groups, the admin access and the remote access. Both of them is in this network policy and with the client of radius client, that is the FortiGate. When the authentication comes here, first it check this group. If it's available in this one, then it will give us access. It doesn't matter, it's Remote Access VPN or it's trying to access the management interface of the FortiGate. If this one doesn't pass, then come to this one and check against this group, this condition. If the user is available in this condition, then it will gives access, and the radio server actually doesn't care that this user is going to connect to the Remote Access VPN or it's going to connect to the management interface of the devices. Then actually it's a big problem, because all our remote access users will access the management interface of our FortiGate. To actually solve this problem, let's go and let me show you something in the FortiGate. Here in the user and authentication, you saw that we created this different groups here. Let me show you in the LDAP group. In the LDAP group, when we create it, we are able to give a group name here. The condition is a group name, and we was able to actually retrieve this groups from the Active Directory, and we easily can select that group. In this case, when we point our user to this group, it's checking that against the specific group here. But if I go to the Radius server that I created in the Radius group, you can see I have two Radius group and also remote access using the Radius, this one. Both of them, it's pointed to a Radius server. And let me go to this one. And here you see that in the group name there is no name. Then anyone in the Radius group will access the everything. When the authentication passed through the Radius, then it will be able to access everything when this group is assigned to that. To solve this problem, actually we have an option here, that is the groups specify. But what name that we should write here, what condition we should match to make sure that this group is exactly match that what we want to do. For that, let's go back to our Windows server, and in the Radius configuration, let's for example edit this one. Double click and edit. Here in the setting, you can see that we have an option of vendor specific. It means we can assign another condition to this group. When that condition also match, then we will be the user will authenticate through the Radius server. Else the user will be dropped and the authentication will stop here. This vendor specific, let's actually add it. You can find all this information in the Fortinet documentation, and here let's go and select the custom here, and we are going to use this vendor specific Radius standards, and I'm going to add one. Here again another attribute information, another window with attribute information. We need to add one. Okay, this is the Radius standard, okay, the network access server vendor, and enter the vendor code. We need to type the code of our vendor. The FortiGate vendor code is 12356. This is very important that you use the exact code, else it will not authenticate. And then let's specify the attribute. What attribute? Yes, it confirms, and let's configure this attribute. The number of the vendor assigned attribute number, I'm going to pass the group name. The group name number is 1, and the attribute format is a string. We have to select this two. This is very important to select one. After this I will show you the page that okay, let me show you now. This is the FortiGate website, the FortiGate community, you can see. And here we have different attribute numbers here. As I said, the FortiGate vendor number is 12356, and also this is the number of the Fortinet. Let me come here. Vendor assigned attribute number. This is the number. For example, number one type of is a string, and that is used for the group name. And also you can see that 2 it's IP address, and 3 again a string, it's for the VDOM name, and so on. You can actually match any of this attribute according to your requirement. But here we are going to match this group name, and the number of that is 1, and the type is a string. And I selected here in the our network policy server configuration 1, and type is a string, and the attribute value, what value I'm going to give to this attribute. For example, I'm going to name it Remote Access RA. This is the value, or Remote Access VPN. It's just a name, and we have to use this name inside our FortiGate. Okay, let's save this. Okay. And now this vendor specific actually is added here, and it's radius standard and Remote Access VPN. It's a vendor specific that we apply that on the our remote access. And let's go to the admin and create same. Let's go to the string vendor specific, add custom, and vendor specific, add one radius standard. The vendor code is 12356, and let's add a value for that. Number 1 again, a string, and this time I'm going to name that IT admin. Okay, and let's close this, apply, and okay. Now both of this policy that we created here as another condition. The first condition is when it's matches to this group, admin group, and the second condition if it's the part of this IT admin. And now let's go to our FortiGate. I'm going to log in with the admin here, and let's edit our radius group that we are created before. For example, here, let me see. I'm in the remote access radius, and let's edit this, and let's specify not here, edit this one. Here the server is radius, and the group, let's specify that. Which group? This is the remote access radius, and we just give a name for that, remote access _ VPN. It's a name that we select as a string, and we specify that inside the radius server. Okay, now if I save this, next time when someone try to access, if this two condition is matched, then it will be able to access to the remote access VPN. And also let's go to our radius group also here, and let's edit this one. And for this is the IT admin. Okay, and okay. Now we have two conditions. First, it should be a member of the remote access group, and second, it should as the tag of the remote access VPN. Now let's go to our FortiGate and to our client and try to connect our VPN. This time I'm going to connect the, Let me disconnect this one. I think it's Sarah is connected now. Yes, Sarah is connected. Let's disconnect Sarah and try to connect it back. This time she should not be able to access this, should not be connected to the VPN. Let me, okay, same username and password. Let me change this password to make sure that it's correct, and connect. You see that the connection is now down. There is no ping. And here you see that I think I lost the remote desktop connection, and Sarah was not is not able to access to the remote access VPN. And okay, my remote desktop is disconnected. Let's go to our FortiGate and let's try to log out this, and let's try to log in with Sarah. And here you see that I just connected and accessed the FortiGate interface using the interface Sarah. And if I try to access this with the username Bob, because Bob is just a remote access user, he is not a member of our IT team, then he should not be able to access. Bob with the password. You see this time the authentication is failed. Okay, let's log into this, and also let's go back to our client. Okay, now let's try to connect Bob here, and Bob should connect to the VPN without any problem. Yes, it's connected, and we should be able to ping the corporate network. Actually, if we speak about the Radius server, it's very handy to authenticating this remote users, and also with the help of the of course IKEv2 this time. And it will authenticate the user, but it doesn't care that the user is accessing what. When the authentication is passed through the Radius server, it will send it to the client, and the client will give it access. And it's not correct, and we should have another controlling system here. You can find the videos in this channel that the remote access VPN using the Cisco ASA, and also with the using the IZ server, Cisco Identity Service Engine. And in that one we are very actually it's very flexible, and we can apply many different policies on the users. Maybe the remote access users, all of them is not in the same position, and we may give them different rights to different part of the networks. In this case, of course, the radio server just passing the authentication, but we are not very flexible to control this user to access what. As you see, the user now it can ping to 10.10.121, and that is the IP address of the Radius server, and also is able to ping this virtual PC. And let me see what IP address it's going to receive. It's in the range of 10.10.2 and if I try to ping this one 2.51, you can see that I'm able to ping this one also. Everything in the range of 10.10.00/16 inside this corporate network is accessible by this remote access VPN. But imagine that we may have a database here, and we don't want this user to access our database directly. Then in this case, of course, we need another firewall here, or we need a system to limit this access, and something like Cisco IZ server to just upload access list to the user, and the user be able to access the resources according to that access list. Okay, I think we configured the IKE version 2 also here. And now we know that we are not allowed to use LDAP server using IKE version 2, and we have to switch it to radius server, and we did that. And also we did some configuration in our radius server, and see that how we can change this vendor specific number and make another condition here to match it, to make sure that the user actually are not able to access our management of our devices. We may have many devices here that is using the radius server, and if we don't match that vendor specific number, in this case all the user will be able to access the management of every devices using their own username and password. Okay, for now let's finish our video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, and also please let me know if you have any question. For now, thank you for your watching, and see you in the next video.